on my shoelaces and blame the Jews, I don't rush to judgment and think that Israel is behind every crisis or every disaster or anything. I do believe that Israel was involved in JFK's assassination.
Thank you so much.
Because Lee Harvey Oswald had CIA handlers. James Angleton was running that team of handlers.
Thank you on double
Many
seven.
of them were Jewish. And James Angleton is mourned in Israel. He managed the Israeli desk at the CIA. He traded U.S. nuclear secrets to Israel for intelligence on the Soviet Union. Jack Ruby.
See, he's getting out of, this is what I'm talking about. He's just getting out of focus. Instead of just keeping himself focused with what is going on in the conspiracy theories and all that stuff. Now we're talking about Soviet Union and, and what these people have to do with Soviet Union. This is what I'm talking about.
A Jewish mobster connected to Meyer Lansky that ran guns to Israel killed Lee Harvey Oswald. Why do I think Israel was involved? That's why. How about the USS Liberty? Well, Israeli fighter jets blew up the ship to cover up their activities in the Six-Day War in 1967. Enough said. At 9/11, why do we believe Israel was involved? Because they were arrested on 9/11. Because a 911 call was placed, and according to FOIA requests, at least 4, but up to 6 Israeli intelligence operatives were arrested filming the towers collapsing in free fall, apparently with prior knowledge of the attack. And later in the day, Urban Moving Systems was apprehended by police with explosives in their van, and they were released without any incident. When we look at just a survey of the biggest conspiracies of the past 70 years, these are just 3. There's always a connection. We don't start with Israel did it, now here's how we can make it work. We start with the evidence. And we survey the evidence, and if we can find a motive, and if we can find a connection, then we can plausibly create a conjecture or postulate that Israel might be involved. What was Israel's motive in JFK? He was going to deprive them of their nuclear capability. What's the connection? James Angleton, Jack Ruby, enough said. USS Liberty, what was their motive? Conceal their maneuvering in the Six-Day War. What was the connection? Well, they blew up the ship. Enough said. They blew up the ship. Enough said. 9/11, what was the motive? Get America into Iraq, and then Syria, and then Iran, and everywhere. What was the connection? They were dancing. You had thousands of art students apprehended in federal government buildings. Went to war the next day. The war plans were on Bush's desk the day before. Enough said. But this is why I'm skeptical about Charlie Kirk. I said on Thursday that I didn't
Never start with the conclusion. One of the logical fallacies. Interesting. Can you go a little deeper on that, Matt?
Charlie Kirk. He was my opponent. A lot of people that have never seen my show before said, why was Charlie Kirk your opponent? Well, 6 years ago, I had my first interaction with Charlie Kirk in 2019. In the summer of 2019, I was banned from speaking at any Turning Point USA chapter or any Turning Point USA event. I didn't know why. I attended a party with Ashley St. Clair in September of 2019. I took a photo with her. She was a Turning Point ambassador at that time. When Turning Point caught wind that she was in a photograph with me, they terminated her from the ambassador program. I attended the Politicon event.
I remember that.
In, I believe, October 2019. I was physically removed from the event by a dozen police officers at the behest of Charlie Kirk. I had no idea why.
That is so messed up.
In 2019, my followers began to attend Charlie Kirk's Q&A sessions at his college tour. We were much younger back then. He was younger. I was younger. It was 6 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of
almost
mistakes.
to the day. And my followers would approach Charlie Kirk and ask questions like, Google dancing Israelis. Why did Israel blow up the USS Liberty? They would say, should it be America first or Israel first? And they would press Charlie Kirk, among other things, on why he supported Israel. Now, in 2019, there was a very different Charlie Kirk than there is in 2025.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Matt. That really helps.
In 2019, Charlie Kirk visited Israel and said he loved the food, the people, he wore the hat, he kissed the wall.
I remember that, yeah. That
in 2019, he went to donor events and said that, you know, the people, the land in America, they really mean nothing. America's about the Constitution. And if you gave a desert island with a desert island population the Constitution, that would be America. He said, but Israel's different. Their land, their people is holy. And
what do you mean, Smiley? Undermines the validity of any argument, which is what Candace Owens is doing right now. Ooh, what do you mean? I want to hear more.
Sacred, and their nationalism must be respected. This is what mainstream conservatism was in 2019. And there were very few people pushing back against it. I was one of them. Michelle Malkin was another. The Groypers led the charge in the Groyper War. And the Groyper War, unlike these far-left people or others, was a war of ideas. Our greatest aspiration, maybe my greatest professional aspiration for the past 6 years, was to debate Charlie Kirk.
Oh, he's not here
anymore. To confront him in a debate on this issue in particular. That was my grievance with Charlie Kirk. And for years, my perception of him, and this was also the reality, is that although I believe his heart was in the right place, and I think that he was the defender of the truth on some other issues, or came to be a defender of the truth on other issues, I do believe that he was complicit in the Israeli capture of the right wing for a very long time.
And you know what's crazy, Matt and Smiley? Now that you're saying that, and I said it before. I said, what if this is a way of sabotaging Candace Owens? She doesn't even know it. And she's just taking the bait. You see what I'm saying? Because it seems like you cannot trust anybody in politics. But she's just going with this like full force for some reason.
And that is unfortunately just the truth. And as much as we can grieve and as much as we can mourn and we can say that obviously he did not deserve what happened to him, we cannot fall into the trap of creating a mythology that does not reflect reality. It is true that for year after year, Turning Point USA grew and grew with sponsorship from Israeli, pro-Israel, Jewish, Zionist donors. And they did this because Turning Point USA was an extremely pro-Israel organization. And anybody that has ever been in Turning Point USA will tell you that same thing. They give you a box of stickers and buttons and posters, and many of them say things like, socialism sucks, and enjoy capitalism. And many of them say, support Israel. Many of them say, I heart Israel.
Well, you know, you have to give some grace to Charlie Kirk. He was having a change of mind when it comes down to Israel politics. Again, a lot of these things have to just grow. We cannot just simply go from moderate to Nick Fuentes. We cannot do that. We cannot expect that. I think clearly Charlie Kirk was moving more towards, okay, maybe we need to just rethink the relationship with Israel.
And as we all know, Turning Point USA was part of the conservative activist enterprise, which was funded to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars by Jewish donors to indoctrinate young American conservatives with a pro-Israel ideology. Alongside Prager University,
that's crazy, Matt.
Alongside Daily Wire, alongside many other similar projects. That's the pretext under which it was founded with Foster Fries's money. And that's how it was right up until last week and to today. So this is why I say,
I personally think that Candace needs to take some time off, man, to really, I mean, she just have everybody at this point against her, because I don't know what it is with her. I don't think there's a space for this right now to just go bombastic about Israel and turning point, all this stuff. It just sounds so off, to be honest. It sounds very off. And for me, for her to go deep into almost concluding that this is the case, it's not even a curveball, man. At this point, it's a nasty knuckleball. Like, you know it's coming, but you can never hit it.
I find it very unconvincing and very unlikely that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. And the reason why I find it almost ridiculous is, as I said, because for the past 6 years, that has actually been the cleavage issue. That has been the subject that I have fought Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA on for the better part of my career, for nearly a decade.
No. See, George, no. When we don't move like that around here. We will only move with the truth. I'm not a useful idiot, man. If we're wrong, we're wrong. No, we're not doing that.
That is why I was not permitted into his events. That is why he refused to debate me. That is why he...
No, you're acting like a lefty, George. You're saying, like, even if we're wrong, even if she's wrong, no. It has to be with truth. Because what if you're just fighting for a cause that's not even real? You're just being used as you're just a useful idiot.
Characterized me as a bad faith troll, among other things. That was the reason for our initial conflict. And I don't want to relitigate all of it, but this has become...
Well, again, she's okay, you're right, George. Probably she brought up the timestamp first. However, getting into these conclusions this fast, I don't know, man. Getting to these conclusions this fast, it's just shooting yourself right in the foot. I don't think this is a good idea.
The subject of careful scrutiny. There is a question now. Who killed
Facts
this
matter.
man?
Yeah,
was it
matter.
his enemies on the left? Was it his enemies on the...
You act like that when you're in high school, in middle school. You can just open your mouth and just say stupid stuff. But when you're an adult like this, nah, man.
Right. Was it his enemies closest to him? Perhaps the Zionist donors? I don't say any of this for any reason. Obviously, dead men tell no tales. I do not say this to speak ill of the dead. I do not say this to get my 2 cents in. I say this...
She going through the process of warning? Bro. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. She should have just taken some step. Listen, sometimes we need just some time to just let these emotions just settle down and then come up with something better. If she going through a very tough time, probably it's not the best idea to just grab a microphone and just say Israel did it. And Israel is the fault of everything. I don't think it's a good idea. Because what happened is, when it does really happen that they are at fault, then nobody's going to believe them. Nobody's going to believe you.
For the record, this is the record of history. That was our ideological and professional conflict. That was our feud. And the tragedy on Wednesday, it doesn't change that history. That was the basis for it. So, to me, it is very unlikely that the Israelis had it out for him because, well, why would they? Charlie Kirk was a steadfast ally of Israel for his entire career. Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel explicitly, publicly, steadfastly for years, right up until his death. That is the sober and realistic fact. So the question is, why does everybody believe that Israel was implicated last week? Well, there is a narrative that has been promulgated.
Listen to this. Okay. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this.
What are you lying about? It's very strange. Is there, are you being paid to lie? Or do you actually believe those lies? I don't know. But all I know is that I'm not going to get distracted by them. We are going to solve the murder of my friend, Charlie Kirk. And if you guys would like to support us, we are independent. As I tell you, you can sign up at our website, CandaceOwens.com. Buy yourself this. This is pretty bomb. Yep, our CIA line. This is the Candace Intelligence Agency. Some people think that it actually says like CIA. The Decentralized Intelligence Agency. I love it. Our products are great. And that's a way that you can just show support and show some love. In the meantime, let's just bop some Kanye power this weekend. I'm going to hit him up. That's what we're going to do. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yo, guys, listen, man. Like, I'm all about the hustle. I'm all about the hustle, man. But the way she's just driving herself towards this, it's a grift, man. It's just a grift, bro. Like, I cannot say. Okay, it could be that there might be some science or something behind it, where you might make the argument or present the evidence that probably the people with the hat did it on Netanyahu. However, the way she's doing this, like she's going down with the hammer about this right after Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, I don't know. And then at the end, you're just selling them hats. I don't know, guys. I'm not against the hustle. I think that's fine. I noticed it also. She goes from emotionally charged content to grift and back again. That's not good. No, I stopped watching her. I just stopped watching her. My wife said that it might be some postpartum stuff. My wife said that she hasn't really recovered from the postpartum stuff.
That Charlie Kirk was on the verge of a great conversion.
Yeah, she's implying that's the case, man. And I don't think that's a good idea. It's like, step back, go to the beach, walk, look at the sunset, smell the ocean, and then come back.
Narrative is, in light of the record of history and where Charlie Kirk was in his journey, the argument goes that this year, recently, in response to recent developments like the turning of Candace Owens, the turning of Tucker Carlson, the genocide in Gaza, and the beating of the war drums in Iran, that Charlie Kirk was undergoing a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was an interior and a private struggle.
You guys can hit the super chat.
That Charlie Kirk was changing his mind.
I'm very
and as a result, he was chafing with his Jewish donors. There was a tension. He was created by Jewish donors. He was funded by Jewish donors. Jewish donors were his patrons. And so the story goes, like many of us, we are all in a different place in our journey, and some
I don't know what you're talking
have awakened later than others. Charlie Kirk, like anybody, was discovering the truth. And he was having a faith awakening, maybe converting to Catholicism, recognizing the tension between religious Judaism and Christianity, or the brutality in Gaza with the tenets of the gospel. And also an ideological conversion, realizing that a Israeli capture of American foreign policy is in complete contravention of an America First.
There you go. And that was him at the end. This is the point that I was talking earlier. Charlie was already moving towards this. So there's no reason to even push that far. And it has nothing to do with the people from the hats, right? Has nothing to do with that. It's just that if you're really American first, you cannot be supporting a country that is always just starting wars, right? Like, you cannot be doing that. I understand. But some of you guys go the extreme to, no, these people are everywhere. It's not like that, folks. It's not like that.
Foreign policy, which he advocates for. And so the story goes, Charlie Kirk was changing his mind on these issues. He was expressing it privately. He was telegraphing or signaling that the ship would be righted and that he was beginning.
What are you, the Matrix? I think you're in the Matrix. The Matrix, I think you're in the Matrix.
To resist the most zealous, fanatical, demanding Israel First donors
Yeah,
and
I'm
the
telling you.
prospect of someone so powerful like Charlie Kirk, particularly among the
Oh, Smiley, why is that, Smiley? You say that people from the hat were more likely to unalive Candace than Charlie. What?
young
That's deep.
right-wing conservatives.